Most people are taught that being nice is a virtue. From childhood, we hear the same message. Be polite, be helpful, be understanding, be kind. And there is truth in that advice. Kindness is one of the most valuable qualities a person can possess. But there is a problem that few people talk about. Many people who describe themselves as nice are not actually being kind. They are being fearful. And there is a significant difference between the two. If you've ever felt exhausted from constantly helping others, if you've ever felt taken for granted, if you've ever wondered why your efforts are rarely appreciated, then this distinction may change the way you see yourself. Because the truth is that many nice people suffer not because they are too kind. They suffer because they have never learned the difference between kindness and self-abandonment. Carl Jung spent much of his life studying the hidden forces that shape human behavior. One of his most important observations was that what we refuse to acknowledge about ourselves does not disappear. It simply moves into the unconscious. For many people, one of those hidden forces is fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of conflict, the fear of disappointing others, the fear of being disliked. These fears are often invisible, even to the person experiencing them. So instead of recognizing the fear directly, they develop coping strategies. One of the most common coping strategies is becoming excessively nice. Imagine a person who never says no. Someone asks for a favor. They agree. Someone asks for more time. They agree. Someone crosses a boundary. They stay silent. Someone treats them unfairly. They tolerate it. At first glance, this behavior appears generous, but look closer. What happens if they say no? What happens if they express their true opinion? What happens if they disappoint someone? If the answer is fear, then the behavior is no longer driven by kindness. It is driven by anxiety, and anything driven by fear eventually becomes exhausting. This is why many nice people secretly carry resentment. They give more than they want to give. They tolerate more than they want to tolerate. They sacrifice more than they want to sacrifice. Then they become confused when others fail to appreciate it. But appreciation becomes difficult when people never know the real person behind the behavior, because genuine relationships require honesty, and honesty requires courage. The courage to reveal what you truly think. The courage to express what you truly need. The courage to risk disagreement. Carl Jung believed that psychological growth requires integrating the parts of ourselves we avoid, but they reject their strength. They embrace compassion, but reject confrontation. They embrace generosity, but reject boundaries. As a result, they become unbalanced. An imbalance creates suffering. Consider a tree. If a tree only grows upward and never develops strong roots, it becomes vulnerable. The first major storm can destroy it. Human beings are similar. Kindness without strength is fragile. Compassion without boundaries is fragile. Generosity without self-respect is fragile. Sooner or later, life tests those weaknesses. And when it does, suffering follows. Another reason nice people suffer is that they often assume others think the same way they do. They expect fairness. They expect reciprocity. They expect consideration. But human beings are incredibly different. Some people are thoughtful. Some are selfish. Some are mature. Some are manipulative. When nice people assume everyone shares their values, they often ignore warning signs. They continue giving long after they should stop. They continue trusting long after trust has been broken. They continue sacrificing long after the relationship has become one-sided, not because they are stupid, but because they desperately want to believe their kindness will eventually change the situation. Unfortunately, it rarely does. Human nature doesn't reward endless sacrifice. Human nature responds to boundaries. People learn how to treat us by observing what we tolerate. Every time you ignore your own needs, you teach others that your needs are optional. Every time you abandon your boundaries, you teach others that your boundaries are negotiable. Every time you remain silent about something important, you teach others that your voice is unimportant. This process happens slowly, so slowly that many people never notice it. Then one day, they wake up feeling invisible, used, unappreciated, exhausted, and they wonder what happened. The answer is often simple. They spent years taking care of everyone except themselves. There is another uncomfortable truth. Many nice people seek validation through helping. Helping becomes part of their identity. They feel valuable when they are needed. They feel important when they are useful. They feel worthy when they are solving someone else's problems. At first, this seems harmless, but it creates a dangerous dependency because their self-worth becomes tied to other people's approval. And approval is unstable. Some people appreciate you, some don't. Some remember your sacrifices. Some forget them immediately. If your self-worth depends on those reactions, your emotional state becomes completely dependent on forces you cannot control. That is a painful way to live. Viktor Frankl once observed that happiness cannot be pursued directly. It emerges as a byproduct of living meaningfully. The same principle applies to self-worth. Self-worth cannot be built through endless approval seeking. It must come from within, from your values, your actions, your character, not from other people's reactions. The healthiest people are not the kindest people, nor are they the strongest people. They are the people who successfully balance both. They know how to care, and they know how to protect themselves. They know how to give, and they know when to stop giving. They know how to forgive, and they know when to walk away. This balance is what Jung called integration. The integration of opposing forces within the personality, kindness and strength, warmth and boundaries, compassion and courage. The goal is not to become less kind. The goal is to become more complete, because suffering often begins when we reject half of ourselves. When we suppress our strength in order to appear kind, when we suppress our honesty in order to avoid conflict, when we suppress our needs in order to gain acceptance. But true kindness does not require self-destruction. True kindness does not require silence. True kindness does not require endless sacrifice. Real kindness includes yourself. It recognizes that your time matters, your energy matters, your needs matter, your boundaries matter. And when you begin treating yourself with the same compassion you offer everyone else, something remarkable happens. Your relationships improve, your confidence grows, your resentment fades, and your kindness becomes genuine rather than fearful. Because the strongest form of kindness is not the kindness that comes from fear. It is the kindness that comes from freedom. The freedom to say yes, the freedom to say no, and the wisdom to know the difference.